Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here. Welcome to another Precious Metal Ramble where we have down-to-earth discussions about all things precious and shiny. It's not a Backyard Bullion video without me dropping a sovereign. Or two, in fact. Goodness me. Right, mistakes. Dropping sovereigns is probably one of those mistakes, but I have been doing this for a long time. And I've seen quite a lot of mistakes that are out there. I've made mistakes myself when buying, investing, collecting. And I've put together a little list of 5 of the biggest mistakes that I see people making almost on a weekly basis. As a sort of trader, as an intermediary, as somebody who deals with the public a lot, I see these kind of mistakes happening all the time, from buying for the wrong reasons, buying the wrong types of gold and silver, buying fakes and getting scammed, too good to be true opportunities, and those legal scams. There are so many pitfalls, and you have to be really careful at the end of the day, because when you're investing in gold and silver, you are putting your own investments under your own kind of steam. You are the one that has to do the due diligence. You have to be responsible for this. And I think in a fast-paced modern world of crypto doubling money requirements for any investment overnight, people somewhat lose sight of these important reasons to stay safe when buying gold and silver. So this is not a top 5 list, it's just my 5 biggest observations. I'm sure there are other observations that one could make, and maybe that you have made in your time buying or selling gold and silver. So please share them down below in the comment section. So first reason people make mistakes is buying for the wrong reason. And I think that can be exemplified over the last couple of months, where we've seen big news, big increases in spot price for silver and gold. And of course, it's great. It's wonderful. There is, though, a lot of FOMO and hype and content creators who talk about gold and silver. And look, I'm a content creator. I talk about gold and silver. I profit when silver and gold go up in price because people watch my channel and I earn a lot of money from Google, from YouTube, and from sponsors and the like. And it's lovely. But also, there's an incentive there to continue to make videos about silver, about how good it is, and then that influences people. I hate the word influencer, but we are influencers if we're a content creator, and unfortunately that can influence people to make the wrong decisions. So if you are looking to buy because your favorite YouTuber has said something, or they've interviewed a coin shop owner who said something, just have a little bit of a moment and a little bit of a think about maybe what is the right course of action for you, because it's not about quick turnaround profit. It's not about making a quick buck with silver and gold. But unfortunately, there is a whole market for that. Otherwise, businesses and coin dealers and the like wouldn't exist. So bear in mind, there are 2 different worlds. There's the coin flippers, the world where you can make money, but there's a risk that the bottom's going to fall out the market and you'll be left holding the bag. And then there's the long-term holders like myself, people who just want this stuff to protect their wealth over time. My opinion is to be one of those people, and you will not go too far wrong. Not investment advice. Of course, anything can go up and down over a long period of time, but traditionally we've seen gold and silver perform very well over that long period of time. So buy for the right reasons. Don't fall down the rabbit hole of hype. If you find yourself watching 5, 6, 7, 8 YouTube videos in a row all about the same topic, go and find one that's not on the same topic, and then have a good hard think about what might be right. So that's number 1. It's a very common one, and it's actually, in many ways, it's kind of a good problem to have, because if you're getting into world of gold and silver through this and you're falling down that rabbit hole, maybe you'll start to learn a little bit more. I've always tried to be the contrarian here on YouTube, at least saying it as it is, down-to-earth discussions, real world examples. So next one, buying the wrong type of gold and silver. Now, that can come in a whole multitude of forms, because the whole world of gold and silver has changed drastically since I started buying, collecting, and making videos. Premium items have gone through the roof, different types of silver, fractional gold, big gold, small gold, graded coins. So we've got to talk about these. These are, okay, these are the medium ground if they stay like this, but if you're buying these kind of bars off a famous live auction platform that can't be named, or you all know what it is, but I'm not going to name it. If you're buying these for like £6-7 a gram, it's just a waste of time. It's a waste of money, in my humble opinion. So buy the right things. Think about things like capital gains tax. So Britannia's, these are capital gains exempt, these 1/4 ounce silvers, but the premium on them is so high that I'd argue that you'd be very lucky to ever make a capital gain on these types of things. Of course, VAT comes into play when you're buying silver. So at the other end of the scale, got a fractional stuff with high premium, you've got a bar with low premium, but the low premium stuff on this has VAT on top, which does add a little bit of premium. This isn't CGT free though, so how do you get it right? You buy as and where you can, perhaps at the cheaper end of the scale. And if I say cheaper end of the scale, picking up a handful of gold, that might not sound great to you, but the premiums on things like sovereigns are just simply too attractive to miss. If you're buying this stuff, you will be just fine. And also you'll have a lot less, risk involved in that. Now, talking of risk, the third piece that I see a lot of is people buying fakes. And that's a really handy segue in today's video sponsor, Trusti Metrix. We are very proudly sponsored by Trusti Metrix, who are the UK's exclusive supplier of the Sigma precious metal testing machines. They are fantastic bits of kit, worth their weight in gold, in my opinion. They've helped me grow my business and my stack and have that peace of mind that all the gold and silver that I own and that I buy is indeed real gold and silver. Something that if you're a business is imperative, but if you're a stacker, that peace of mind, as I said, is worth its weight in gold. Now, Trusti Metrix are a fantastic organization, a small family-run business that provides customer service second to none. And I have first-hand experience of getting their technical help and expertise when I've been trying to test big chunky bars of silver like this, or just getting to grips with how the machines run. They are always there. I mean, they've been fantastic for me, even on weekends, to get prompt answers for just simple queries. They are a non-pushy organization, and they have and continue to work with businesses and investors to make sure that the machines that they get are right for them. So if you're interested, you can go and see their website with the full range of machines that they have on offer. And if you're interested, reach out to them and tell them that Backyard Bullion sent you their way. Thank you once again to Trusti Metrix for sponsoring our channel. And now back on with our precious metal ramble. Now look, fakes they're not as common as people might think. So a lot of people who are not into gold and silver are often really scared of getting completely scammed because there are a lot of fakes out. Now look, there are fakes and you have to be safe. I got a fake sovereign not that long ago from a bullion dealer in person in London, which was very scary. But you can protect yourself, as we've seen. There are different ways to do that. But learning from your silver is also really important. Learning what to expect. As and when you buy this stuff, have some of it that you can feel, touch, hold, examine close up, understand what makes a silver coin feel and look the way it does. If you're just buying sealed tubes of product and sticking the tubes in a storage box, you're not going to really know if it is genuine or not. You've got to check these things out. You've got to make sure that things are what they say they are. Trust but verify. That's the biggest thing. Whether you're a small stacker or not is super important. In fact, I'd argue if you're a smaller stacker, it's even more important. If you're buying just a couple of sovereigns and one of them's fake, that's like a third of your portfolio completely gone. If you're a bigger stacker, then the incentive is less in terms of percentage of your stack that might be fake, but one single 1 ounce gold coin, that's how much it costs to protect yourself with a Trusti Metrix Sigma. And if you are buying lots of them, then it's a no-brainer. And also, Trusti Metrix won't like me saying this, but when you're done with your Trusti Metrix Sigma Pro verifier in a few years' time, when you finish stacking and you've got your stack all ready and done, those machines hold their value exceptionally well. You can go and sell them. Very easy to do. Okay, number 4. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. So this is one of the big ones I always see. There's a lot of greed involved in this one. And people often they'll just fall down this rabbit hole of something seems too good to be true, and it probably then is. So that can take a couple of forms, which is kind of broaching on point number 5, which is kind of being conned by legal scammers. But if an opportunity comes up, like you get, I mean, look, not anyone's going to fall for this, but I'm sure there might be because they still exist. But every now and again, I get an email from somebody from West Africa going, they've got like 94% pure gold door, which is like the offcuts from, or not the offcuts, but the waste products of various different mining. And they're like, we can supply this in the United Kingdom for, 94% of spot price delivered. And no, you can't. There are plenty of easy scams to spot, but there are also a lot of scams that are not easy to spot. And they happen all the time. On Bookie Faceplace, on eBay, there are a lot of fakes out there. So if it seems too good to be true, if you're buying something at an auction, or if you're buying something on Bookie Faceplace or lots of different other social media platforms, that could be even the Silver Forum or Stacker Social, or even through just your favorite contact on a WhatsApp group, just be very, very conscious that sometimes things could be not as they seem. I'm going to really struggle with this now, aren't I? Right. So yeah, if something is too good to be true, it probably is. That's the long shot of it here. But unfortunately, people fall down that rabbit hole of greed. And for nearly 10 years, I've been making content talking about different ways that you can protect yourself as an individual, making sure that the opportunities that you see, if they are too good to be true, really just examine why. Now, I've bought silver and gold well underneath spot price. I've bought silver underneath spot, considerably under spot. That gigantic 5 kilo Geiger bar, for example, I bought it at 95% of spot price. I made an offer to the gentleman who was selling it. They took it. So these deals do happen. You know, talking of underneath spot price, the gold coins you see here, these are what I would describe as garbage coins by garbage companies. We'll talk more about that in point number 5, but these coins will regularly trade hands underneath spot price. The problem with them is if you sell them to a bullion dealer, they are basically just scrap, and they'll get scrap prices, sometimes as low as 90% of the value of the gold content that's in them. So these deals do happen, but often they can be a warning sign, so just be really careful. Unfortunately, though, you can't fix stupid. That's one thing I've learned in 10 years of doing content. And when these types of coins come up and you know, the opportunity seems too good to be true, people take that good opportunity because they thought it was too good to be true, and they get scammed, or they get legally scammed, which brings us on to point 5. You can't fix stupid, and unfortunately, sometimes people will fall down the rabbit hole of these legal scams. Now, what I mean by that is companies that are basically just pure shite. We talked a little bit about pure shite company in a previous video, but these kind of companies where they'll try and say that they've got brokers with live access to the LBMA live gold prices. I mean, everyone's got access to the live prices of gold. You just go and Google what's the price of gold. But you know, these companies make it sound so great that you're dealing with a broker. They target rich people, often people who maybe are in a vulnerable category. And we've got to understand that there is a vulnerable nature to this world, because we are talking about people with disposable income, hopefully. I mean, there are also people who, and this is the worst one. In fact, let's not pick up that coin to talk about this. Let's talk about these kind of coins. So these kind of coins come from various different companies that I'm not going to name because, and look, you can hate me all you like for not naming them, but unfortunately they're not doing anything illegal. So if I were to name individual companies, I open myself up to defamation and libel, because they're technically not doing anything illegal. It's just a free market capitalization, but they are taking advantage of people, in my humble opinion, and they're doing things in a really shady way. Pressure selling, targeting vulnerable older people. They're targeting people of a certain generation that have grandchildren, and they're saying things, you know, like, I can't prove any of this, but there are companies, or there are individuals that I've dealt with who have sold these types of coins to me, and they've been telling me that when they were sold them by this company, they were talking about how great they would be for their grandkids, and saying that you're making the right decisions for your grandkids' future, selling them all of this tat. You know, it's not just tat coins like this, but it can be companies that sell graded coins at absolutely exorbitant premiums on top of what really where a market premium should be. We're talking not even proof coins, we're talking just MS graded Britannias, MS68 Britannias being sold at proof coin prices, which is just a whole bunch of garbage. And those kind of companies are just there to essentially make money off people who don't know better. So legal scams. If you're being sold to, precious selling, sold to you by someone, then just take a step back and say, hey, how about no? There are companies also that sell these kind of coins that sign you up to subscriptions. In fact, there's a thread going on the Silver Forum. It's been going on for a long time, but somebody's just refound this they bought a coin from this company a while back, and then suddenly out of the blue, without any instruction, this company has sent them a coin and billed them for it and started a whole brand new subscription to a series. And they didn't want it, but it's their tactics. It's how they do it. It's how they get you, because they rely on the 1 in 10 people who might be too ashamed to go and complain or try and get their money back, or it's just not good. These kind of companies are shit. They are shitbergs. They are pure shit companies. And they often hide in plain sight with really fancy names that might make it a bit confusing, that maybe play on British history or play on, you know, the old, like, or the places in London. I'm not going to say the exact names again, because again, it's about protecting myself from defamation and libel, but there are plenty of different examples of these companies that send you really fancy leaflets and pieces of paper with really high thread count, and it's just whatever. It's just a load of crap, and those companies really piss me off because I see it every week. I see people get these mistakes made. And look, I've said a really horrible phrase here, but you can't fix stupid. And unfortunately, we, I think, are in a world now where people have to make mistakes to learn from those mistakes sometimes. And I can try my best, and look, it's great. I've made this video, 5 reasons, whatever I've titled it, 5 reasons that you're doing things wrong in the world of buying gold and silver. And if just one person out of this stops themselves from making one of the 5 mistakes that I've talked about in this video, then that's mission accomplished from me. I've saved someone some money, but I won't save everyone. I won't. It's just that these companies are too big, they're too well at Google marketing, they're too good at their pressure selling tactics to stop it. YouTube as a force is great, but it's also there to help people get rich for themselves through Google AdSense earnings, through YouTube money, through sponsorships. There is an ulterior motive here. I'm a YouTuber. I know how much money my channel makes from YouTube. I know how much I get if this video gets 10,000 views. I also know that because I've got a video with 10,000 views, that's valuable to sponsors and I get money in. So it's in my interest to talk about and try and find the best clickbait thing. I could have been a huge clickbait YouTuber and I could have sold that down the river. Look, I take sponsors. There's no shame in taking sponsors, but I could be earning $20,000 a video like other people in the world of gold and silver content creation if I'd gone down a different road. But that's not what I want. It's not what I've been doing for 10 years. My story in this space of 10 years has been about education. It's about trying to get people the best deals for things. And I've always stood up for that. And this is where I'm going to kind of go into a little, we're done with the 5 reasons. We can park them to one side now. This is where I'm going to go into a little bit of what I'm going to continue to do and my story and how it continues. So recently there was a coin that went up for sale on the silver forum. It wasn't this particular coin, but it was something very much like it. Basically, it was a half sovereign of one of these. So like one of these, but half basically. And the seller wanted an exorbitant amount of money for it. Somebody else commented that that was a very unlikely price point to try and achieve. And I just chimed in and said, yeah, I agree. I think it's a garbage coin from a garbage company because it's one of these shitbird companies, as I was just talking about. And, it's against the forum rules to talk about this on a sales thread. So, yeah, I hold my hands up. Shouldn't have done that. But at the same time, if I save someone from paying £600 for a coin that's worth, at best, on a good day at spot price, £410, at worst to a bullion dealer, about £380, then that's mission accomplished in my book. But do you know what the crazy thing was? I was accused of toxicity and arrogance on that. I get it. There is a certain level of arrogance, I suppose, that I need to admit there, but I don't feel like that is arrogance that is a negative quality in that respect. Am I arrogant for dismissing these coins and these shitbird companies? I suppose in some people's eyes, yes, I am about that, but I have for 10 years been calling out this bullcrap. So to be called toxic for doing that, it's hilarious to me. I just don't understand it. And I'm not the only one that doesn't understand it either. There are people who have said to me, you know what, you're right, but also we can't say that because of reasons. And I'm like, well, just jog on, will you? A captain subtext was on some of my posts. I'd be like, yeah, you know what? I don't care anymore. In fact, I did say that. I was like, I'm out. I don't care anymore. That's the wrong attitude to take, though, because I do think people do need to stand up for, do you know what I've done? I've folded this over and now I can't unfold it. So, you know what? Sometimes you do just have to stand up for things and stand up and say when things are not right in this world. And that's what I will continue to do. And it's what I've done for 10 years. I've been doing 10 years worth of finding people good deals, helping people get good deals, helping people buy silver and gold at the right price without getting scammed, helping people make the right financial decisions when they're investing in gold and silver through my content, through our actions on group orders, on bringing deals from bullion dealers like the spot price deals, and telling you which bullion dealers are good and so on. So I'm going to continue to do that. And if I get called toxic for it by certain members of the community, then sure, whatever. I really don't care. I really don't care what people think about me. Quite frankly, I just care about trying to save people from making some of the mistakes I've talked about. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments. It would be great to hear what you've got to say. I'm too long in the tooth really now to worry about what other people think about that side of things. You know, you can agree with me or you can disagree with me. I really don't care. And if you're just going to be toxic down in my comment section, I'm just going to block you and ban you, quite frankly, because I've had enough of it, really. But anyway, there we go. Thanks all for watching. Honestly though, for the cool kids, let us know which of the 5 reasons is your top reason. That would be my Cool Kids Club request for you to get down in the comment section. But otherwise, that is going to be it from me. We'll see you all on the next video as always. Thanks for watching, and make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.